Hey everyone, I'm Aaron Wentz, and this video is on the science of leadership. I'm just a few weeks away from getting my second master's in leadership, and it's been a long time of just figuring out what is leadership. I want to share what I've learned in this study with you, and so it's a wonderful blessing for me to be able to do that for you today. Well, many years ago, Isaac Newton wondered why things fell to the ground, and he found out the theory of gravity. And so leadership is a lot like a science, like trying to figure out how and what is a leader. You can make someone follow you, you can make someone do something if you pay them or you're in the military, but this whole idea of how do people who aren't getting paid, who aren't forced, how do people want to follow somebody? So if you're the leader and there are people here that aren't getting paid, they're not in the military, how do you motivate people to follow? That's an amazing question. So I've spent 4 years on my master's degree, and I put it together kind of in one slide here. This is the science of leadership. And there is a science behind it. Many years ago, I met a PhD who got his doctorate in leadership, and he said, leadership is really either you have it or you don't, he said, and he walked away. Well, I want you to know that what he said was absolutely wrong. It's dead wrong. Everything I've studied in my master's degree says the total opposite. Leadership can be learned. It's a choice. You can learn leadership skills. It's a skill. You can begin to learn these skills that I'm going to tell you, and you can begin to use them and practice them and get better at them. Well, all the leadership experts say leadership means influence. So if you influence anyone at any level, you're a leader. Here's a classic example. Who is probably the best leaders in the world? Your mother. Most people say their mother or a parent or a family member had the greatest influence on them. And so if leadership means influence, a mother, a parent has tremendous influence over somebody. Now, influence can also be negative, right? A parent can have negative influence over somebody. You think about a teacher, your favorite teacher in school. If I asked you, who is your favorite teacher? Who influenced you the most? You'd probably go back to a teacher, coach, or a parent, right? Because leadership is influence. And so if this is you, and you're saying, okay, leadership is influence, but how do you do that? I've thought about that for years. Okay, leadership is influence. Leadership is influence. But how? What do you do? So that's what I want to share with you today. Leadership really comes down to attitude. It really, really does. If you love being in charge and you love telling people what to do and you love being the boss and you love micromanaging people and you love being in control, that's definitely a position of power. But the moment someone's not getting paid and they don't have to do it, will they follow you out of choice? The answer is probably no. People don't like being micromanaged or controlled or being told what to do. So how do you get people to voluntarily be a part of what you're doing and be a part of your cause? You could be someone leading in a nonprofit, an entrepreneurial project, a church. You could be doing anything as a boss, and you want people to move and do something because they want to. Well, how do you do that? Well, it really comes down to the attitude of the leader. Simon Sinek, if you don't know who Simon Sinek is, he is one of the leaders, the world's leaders in leadership, and he is an excellent role model for this. He says, leadership is a choice, not a rank. Let me say that again. Leadership is a choice, not a rank. We think of leadership as the CEO, the boss, the commando, the person leading the charge, like a military leader. And that's true. But really, if Simon Sinek is right, which he is, and it's a game-changing definition, it makes sense. Leadership is a choice, not a rank. How many people in high-ranking offices, they have the position, but they don't care about people, and the people under them don't care about him. The moment he leaves or they leave, nobody really cares. That's not good leadership. Leadership is a choice. It's saying, I want to do something for somebody else. I want to make the world a better place. It's an attitude. You want to be remembered of someone who helped others and changed the world. So anytime you purposely help somebody or do something, that's a choice. And you're positively influencing somebody, that's leadership. So anything at any level, just helping somebody in just a small way, you're leading, you're showing influence, you're influencing people for the good. Now, here's something very humbling. Leadership experts say, if you don't have followers, you're not a leader. Wow, that's humbling. You could sit in your office and just write emails and go to school and do your job and go home, and you're technically not a leader. There has to be people that say, I want to do what you do, be where you are, go where you go, because they want to. The moment you have followers, now you become a leader. So again, it becomes the question, how does you create people that want to follow? So that's what we're going to talk about today. It comes down to your attitude, and it comes down to this, two big things. How do you get people to follow? Number one is, if you have a vision, a mission, a purpose, that other people say, yeah, I like that. I want to be a part of that. I like that. They'll begin to use their feet and move and go where you go because they like what you're doing. If you're about finding clean water, you want to provide clean water for people in third world countries, people might rally around you. I know my mom has been a part of that, trying to dig wells in third world countries to get clean water, and she's gotten people to contribute to their cause. Very cool. I started a nonprofit, and some people have come around to try and help because they believe in what I'm doing. So anytime you're a part of something that people believe in what you're doing and they want to help, now you're creating followers. And so the big deal is the purpose and vision of what you're doing. What is your vision? Is there something that you want to attract people to? Very important. The second then is the leader themselves, he or she. It comes down to your attitude and your character. Do people like being around you? Do they enjoy being around you? Do they learn from you? Are they benefited by you? Are you a leader that people grow by? And so a lot of times someone might not be so much into the cause, but they really like being around the leader. Or some people really love the vision and the purpose and what they're doing, but the leader, I don't really care because they're really excited about the vision. A really great leader is doing well at both. They're really promoting the vision and the mission, and at the same time, they are really becoming a quality leader, and they're working on themselves, becoming a great what? Role model. Now, when people look at you and say, I want to be like him, I respect him, that's very cool. That's what it's all about. So here's a huge thing that I learned from Simon Sinek, again, this leadership guru that I highly recommend you watch on YouTube. Great, great leader, wonderful guy. And so I learned this from him, is how do the followers around you, how do they feel about you? How do they feel about you? Because deep down, instantly when you meet somebody, as you know, you're going to create feelings in them about, how you treated them. We all know what it's like to have a bad boss, don't we? A really bad teacher. I don't know, maybe somebody awful in your family. And how do they make you feel? Well, you don't want to be around them. You vote with your feet and you leave. Well, if you're a positive influence, then if you're someone positive, how does that make the other person feel? How do they feel about you? Well, if they're positive, they're going to vote with their feet and want to be around you. So leadership and the science of leadership is really dealing with the psychology of humans. Like the science behind, if you plug in, your laptop to a wall outlet, you're going to get a shock. You're going to get an electrical charge. Well, negative things produce a negative charge. Positive things produce a positive charge. So if you're with somebody and the person is leaning in, listening to you, really getting to know you, they're caring about you, and you just get a really positive vibe about this person, like, wow, how do they feel about you? Well, they're going to probably want to be around you again. See, now you're creating momentum, you're creating movement because you're attracting them by how you're making them feel because of your attitude, because of your character, your enrollment, and you're helping them get a part of something that's bigger than themselves. Okay? So when you're helping somebody get a part of something bigger than themselves, they like you as a person, and you say, let's go do this, you might get people start to follow. Now, over time, in the 4 years of studying leadership, I started to mentally put down what I call the 10 building blocks of leadership. You don't have to have all 10 of these, but if you have 8 out of 10, 5 out of 10, you're going to be a pretty good leader. If you're 1 or 2 out of 10, there's some growing to do. And so what leadership experts say is that for people to begin to follow you and stay following you, what you're doing with your life and your attitude and these 10 building blocks of leadership is what you're doing is that you're producing trust. The followers around you, they like you, they trust you, they're willing to go above and beyond. They're willing to take up time and energy. They might be even willing to donate and give money to something because they trust you. They feel safe. As Simon Sinek says, they feel safe around you. You're a trustworthy person. They'll lay down their life for you. It's a humbling thing. And so these 10 building blocks are really the core of the attitude of the leader and the powerful effect it has on the psychology of people that say, I like them, I like what they're about, I feel safer. But then they're not going to verbalize that, but it's the psychology really and the power behind these wonderful things. Number one, the first building block is helping. We can all think of wonderful teachers and coaches that really helped us, and they were looking out for us. They had our back. They noticed us. They did something that was like, wow, you notice me? Or that kind of a leader is amazing. We've all had leaders and bosses that, if I disappeared and never came around again, they wouldn't even notice. They didn't even care. So when people, there's that psychology and that negative emotion of like, they don't care. They don't know me. They don't, they're abusing me. They're taking advantage of me. That's people, that negative impact on someone makes people go the other way. But if you're at a job and your leader sees you struggling and without complaining and making you feel bad, they help you and they make your life better, and they're always helping you. They're always serving you. They're always trying to make your life better. They're for you. That attitude of the leader of helping, getting down on your level and helping you, what does that do? It makes you feel, thankful. It makes you feel appreciative of the leader. Again, now what you're doing is you're producing positive psychology in your followers. So then when you say, hey, let's do this, there's going to be momentum because they like you. They feel safe with you. The next one is knowledge. Think about, Bill Belichick of the New England Patriots, or a great coach. I lived in Boston for 15 years, so I got to use Belichick, right? People liked the New England Patriots because he was an expert in coaching, and whatever field you're in, if there's someone that you can learn from, the professor, the teacher, the coach, they share their insights, and they willingly did that. You feel thankful. You feel appreciative. You want to be around them because you're growing as a person, because this person is a person of knowledge, and you grow from them, and it's wonderful to be around people like that. And so if there's someone in your life that's always trying to think about how they can help you, they're super knowledgeable, people start to get affected by that. Now, if you have a boss that never comes out of his office, comes out and barks orders to you, yes, maybe they have knowledge, but they're not willing to share it. They're not interested in you. They're not willing to help you. That produces a negative effect. But if your leader is very aware of you, they take time to notice you and help you and make your life better, not hurt you. They're a person of knowledge that you can definitely learn from, like a coach, like a great professor. We're thankful for our parents, right? If our parents were someone we respect, that passed down traits and knowledge to us, it makes our lives better. The third one here, and there's no real order to these building blocks, but they're kind of in an order a little bit. The next one is ethical. You know, how many great leaders do we know and great people, coaches, teachers, and they had a moral failure. Something happened with their integrity and their ethical standards were, wow, they were actually abusing women, or they were unethical with their money, or something happened and it was like, whoa, everything just got blown up. So man, ethical, being a person of integrity, do what you say you do and be the person you say you are. Be the same person in your house as you are out in the world. That ethical standard of not being a fake and a phony and being the same person in public and in private, that's huge. And we all know great people that have fallen because they had some kind of integrity issue. So 3 big ones. So, you know, students in high school, college, they look up to their teacher, their coach, and they say, wow, you know, this coach is always trying to look out for me. He's helping me. I learn from him. They're ethical. What does that do to the psychology and the feelings of the followers? You notice up here, people start to have feelings and ideas and opinions and emotions and psychology like, I like him or her. I feel appreciative of them. I feel thankful. I have respect. Notice that those are feelings. Those are emotions. Those are ideas. And those are, again, it's like plugging in the right computer to the outlet produces a right emotion. Positive things like these 10 things produce positive feelings in the followers. So now when the leader says, hey, let's do this, what do followers have? They have trust. They feel like, yeah, I'll do that because they like you. They feel safe around you. 3 big ones here. 4th one is listening. We all know, we've been around people that they're not listening, they're on their phones, they're taking calls, they're texting, they give us like 30 seconds of their time, they're out. Man, listening is so powerful. Man, no one ever listened their way out of a job, right? Usually people, you know, talk their way out of a job. They do something stupid, but using their mouth to get them in trouble. But most people have never listened their way out of a job. Listening, by the way, is free. You don't have to go to college for it. You can learn to listen. And what does listening do in your followers? It shows people, how do they feel about you? How do people feel when you listen well to them, that you are listening to their hurts and their ideas? A great leader listens to people because people have good ideas. Again, it goes back to attitude. If the attitude is like, you know, I'm the man, I'm the boss, don't tell me what to do, I got all the ideas. If that's your attitude, man, we're missing out on so much of the creativity. I took a whole course, I read a whole college textbook at Grand Canyon, and the basic bottom line of the whole book was everybody has something to offer. Even the lowest person, whatever, they have something to offer. Everyone has creativity and ideas. Wow. So if you really listen to people, like, hey, how did you think that went? You got any ideas, any suggestions? Man, they feel validated and you grow and learn. So much more to talk about that. But the idea here is that for the rest of your life, as a growing human being that wants to serve and lead people, is that these 10 building blocks don't just happen. Remember what we said in the beginning, they're skills. Leadership is a skill that anyone can look at and learn to do better. Now, some people might look at this and say, yep, I'm good with this, good with that, but I'm really bad with this, and this, and that's okay. That's the whole point. You can begin to look at where you're strong and where you're weak and work on the building blocks that you're strong, but also work on the building blocks that you're weak. So if you're really weak at listening and caring, and then work on that and study listening. If you're weak in a skill that you want to become knowledgeable, study that. If you want to work on your morals and your integrity and being the same person, well, practice that. Practice helping people. Start small. You know, notice people in the grocery store, notice people in the mall, and notice people wherever you go, and begin to serve and help and Look to others' needs beside yourself and begin to be a servant and do that. Fifth one here, I said family. I've studied so many organizations where the people like working for the organization because they say that the organization makes them feel like family. Here's a huge leadership principle. People like a place to belong. People like a place to belong. That's why, teams and coaches and churches, and that's why there's such a power there, because these organizations have a family feel to them. People are lonely and they're isolated, but when you're part of a group that is going in a direction that you're passionate about, and you're working with people that care for you and you care for them, and that's family, man, that's power. Teams, right? That's why teams in sports are so powerful, because you're part of a team that's working together for a cause, and if there's kindness there, not abuse, you're starting to feel like family. Think about the military. Whoa, your brothers, your sisters, your family, big time, gangs, family, that family feel. So whatever you're a part of, if you make people feel like they're a number, they're a commodity, people are gone. But if you can keep people because you're making them feel like they're part of something to belong to, you'll keep them. It's a positive thing about human beings. Number 6 is empathy. Empathy is when you actually stop to wonder and care about how people are doing. So people don't show up for work, they're having a bad day, they're late. Instead of barking at them and getting mad, it's thinking about people, what's going on in their life, why are they crying, why are they having a bad day, what's going on. Listening, knowing that people are flesh and blood like you. They have feelings, they have difficulties. Think about someone that works for a company and their mother died, and the mother lives on the other side of the world, or country, let's say, and comes to their boss and says, hey, my mom just died, can I get work off? The boss says, no, we need you in. Just cold, boom. Well, how's that follower going to feel? How do they feel about you? Oh, man, bitterness, anger, resentment. But if the boss says, wow, your mom died, wow, we're going to bend over backwards, we're going to cover you, we'll figure it out, go be with your family. Well, when they return from the funeral, how is the follower going to feel now towards the leader? Well, they're probably going to like you more. They're probably going to be appreciative. They're going to be thankful. So that's psychology. Those feelings you have towards the leader is going to be this powerful movement that's creating the idea within the people that says, I want to follow. I want to follow. Here's 2 big ones. Is empowerment. What is empowerment? Empowerment is that the organization and the person you're working for, that they're not working for you so much, but also the leader is looking out for them and they want them to grow. The leader is very aware that people have needs and they want to make their life better. They want to help them. And anytime somebody feels empowered, they feel like they're growing, they're contributing. That's a powerful thing. Anytime a coach can empower a player, that's huge. That is worth like a college course of like how to do that, how to empower people, how to make people feel like they're contributing, they're learning, they're growing. That attitude, instead of feeling used, the followers feeling like, I like being here because I'm learning, I'm growing. Very powerful. And one of the ways you do that is this building block of delegating. I read a book for my leadership class on about a submarine captain that, he used to tell orders that's very military and Navy to, we're going to go down this certain feet, we're going to go down this depth in the submarine. And he started saying things like, letting people make choices and telling the captain what they're doing, very risky. But what he noticed is at the moment He was letting people delegate to make choices. Like obviously the person that works in the engine room probably knows a little bit more about the engine than a lot of the people on the boat. So let them make decisions. So the moment the captain delegated authority to them to make big decisions, people started to feel what? Empowered, feeling noticed, feeling listened to. The moment you delegate authority to somebody and give them a job to do, they start to feel empowered. I mean, it goes back to being as simple as, the coach on the team notices a little boy and says, hey, do you want to be the water boy for the team? You want to be the water boy for the team. Well, that young man, he just got excitement because he just got what? He got delegated a position and, he felt, empowered. So if a leader says, I really think you'll do a good job of X, Y, and Z, and they delegate a responsibility to them, at the same time, the leader is very aware of how they're making the follower feel. The moment you delegate and empower somebody, and at the same time, you're aware of how you're listening to them, are you helping them? Are you showing empathy when they're having a bad day? Are you making them feel like they're part of the team? If these 6 things are solid, and you start working on doing this with somebody, they're going to really, really zone in and really become a follower, because now they're going to want to start to say, I respect them. I'm thankful for them. I want to now what? Please them. Because they are now thankful and appreciative of you for what you've done for them. See, serving. So now when they're thankful for what you've done for them, now when you delegate, now they're going to want to please you back. There's a science to this. It's human psychology is what it is. It's not hidden. It's not secret. It's just psychology. Most likely, if you're nice to someone, they might be nice back. If you help them they'll help you back. If you forgive somebody, they might be more likely to forgive you. If you're generous, they might be more generous to you. But if you're mean and nasty, what's going to happen? They'll probably give a negative, mean, and nasty attitude back. It's just psychology. So these 10 building blocks are building a foundation of trust and safety so that the person feels like they like you, they're safe with you, and that they want to please you. Now there's things like, how about this one? Openness. What is openness? Very different idea of leadership here. Most leaders have the idea that they have to be in charge and they have to be right. And what leadership ideas have come over the last 10 years especially is this idea of openness. If you show that you're not always right, you do make mistakes, you're growing like everyone else is, it creates a culture in your organization that, hey, it's okay to be human. No one's invincible. No one's God. And that feeling of openness that we're all in this together, we're all learning together, makes other people grow and be human with you, and it actually makes a very nice culture. So having the leader continue to be open, open to their weakness, open to their frailty, openness to how they still need to grow. Now you notice here that I have the word we up there. This really is about we. It's about team. It's about working together, working with people, getting down on their level, and we're doing things together. When the guy's in the office and nobody knows anybody, and people feel like they don't care, no one cares about them, and it's about little people helping the big people and authority, there's just resentment and bitterness, and they don't want to be a part of that. But if the leader has the attitude of we, and is moving this way towards the leader, so you notice the arrow's going that way. Usually leadership is going this way. It's about serving the leader, making the leader happy, but the leader is pointing people to the purpose. He's going this way to find out how he can help his people and make their lives better. When that attitude happens, it affects the feelings of the followers. Now, last one is courage, and courage is, when you're in positions that you have to make decisions, leaders have to make hard decisions sometimes, and when you make hard decisions, sometimes it takes character and courage because it affects the lives of others. And so a good leader is a role model, a person of character, and often takes courage. A big leadership principle is you have to want to be in leadership because someday you're going to have to make some hard decisions. Okay, so if you're doing 2 or 3 or 4 of these, you're going to positively affect people's lives. If you do a few, well, but let's say you have like 4 or 5 really, really bad, it's going to negatively affect the team. So really great leaders are really working well at this, and bad leaders don't do this at all. They do it very poorly. So what you can do, because leadership is a skill, you can begin to work in all these. Now here's something really fascinating. If a leader understands the purpose and vision is about we, not I, is a great character, it's about choice and serving and helping and doing all these things, he's affecting the psychology of people. People will start to follow. They'll start to be a part of when he says, hey, can you come to this meeting at 7 o'clock? Hey, will you do this for me? Will you do this for me? And people are wanting to do this. They're wanting to be a part of the team. What can happen now is the leader can now feel entitled. The leader can start to feel, can start to manipulate the people because they know he has power over them because he's affected their lives emotionally. I mean, you talk about a person, let's say someone's having a bad day or a crisis happens, and you come in and you show empathy, you listen and you help them, and you change their life. Man, you've just affected someone. You've created a follower. And really, that's how cults happen. The cult leader is able to do these things well and emotionally affect the follower so the people begin to blindly follow him out of, love and admiration. And then now the leader begins to manipulate these people. So if you're doing these things well and you're creating followers because they want to be around you, they like what you're doing, they believe in your purpose, now they're moving towards you. Now, when that happens, now the leader has a choice. For most humans, ego is huge. Ego is big. People love followers. They love likes on your Facebook page. They love compliments. They love to be looked up to. Celebrities, sports fans, they love to be idolized. Well, this is where great leaders shine. Because every leader knows that everyone's time on earth is limited. And we're not going to live forever. And so we want our vision and our purpose to outlast us. Well, how do you get your vision and your purpose to outlast you? You don't make the vision and purpose about you. If you're about clean water or renewable energy or a nonprofit cause or whatever you're into, make it always about you. Make it always about the purpose and the cause so that when you someday step out, which we all will, and it's so naive of people to think that we're going to live forever or the coach or the team or the organization needs us. If you really do things well and you make it about the vision so that someday when the leader steps out, the organization and the cause can continue on. That the leader doesn't manipulate and control and abuse and make it about ego, but is very humble to make it about we, the team, to help people, to serve, to create the organization, about the purpose and vision. So when the one leader steps down, this is all moving forward. And this is how people can create followers towards great causes. So that's a science of leadership. Now, if you say, well, you forgot this, or if you forgot that, yeah, I probably did. There's definitely probably more, but just the basics of what I've shared with you, it's enough. It's enough. I mean, just these 10 areas man, you could study courage, you can study being vulnerable, you can study empowerment and delegation and everything. I mean, it's just huge. So spend your life growing as a leader. Spend your life growing in character. Spend your life growing in skills and leadership, and study these things. But now, what I've done is I've put it all in a big picture for you, a big vision, so that when I was growing up, I heard, oh, you should be a better listener. Oh, okay, I should be a better listener. You should delegate more. Okay, I should delegate more. And it was like very compartmentalized. But what I wanted to do now is show you how everything fits together. How everything is like a positive and negative reaction. Everything fits together. And so when a man or a woman wants to influence somebody, it gives you the total vision of how to do this well. So you're creating people that, not out of force or manipulation, they want to volunteer and be a part of what you're doing. And when that happens, great things happen. Things change, people change, the world changes, people's lives get better and they change. And guess what? Here's the great news. If you followed me all the way to the end of this talk, you know, when everything is going well and you're doing this and it's not about ego and abuse and money, you know what happens? People start feeling like they're part of something bigger than themselves. They feel like they're doing something important with their lives. They're starting to get value and worth in their life. And you're affecting someone's life. And you know what, when the leader is not about him and money and fame and material things, it's really about helping people and making people's lives better. Guess what happens to the leader? The leader has a sense of fulfillment, that their life is not wasted. Their life has meaning and value, and they're doing something good with their life, and they wake up every day knowing that, okay, it's good to make money, and it's good to, but in the end, their life had a purpose and a meaning. They've lived for something bigger than themselves. They left a positive mark on the world and people's lives, and than just a bank account. And so this model, it helps people and it helps the leader. It blesses people and it blesses the leader. It gives people a sense of fulfillment and it gives the leader a sense of fulfillment. It makes people feel like they're a part of a cause and a vision, and it makes the leader know that they're a part of a cause and a vision. They're helping make that happen. So leadership is influence. It's wonderful. It's a very powerful thing. Well, I hope you can take a snapshot of this, study this. If you have any questions, make a comment below. Let me know. I'll see what I can do to help. I hope this talk helped on the science of leadership, and it gave you things you've never thought of before and things you can work on in your life like it has mine. I'm Aaron Wentz. Thanks a lot for listening today. Have a great day.